Excellencies, dear colleagues, we live in difficult times, shaped by the impact of global pandemic. We are limited in our usual way of life, including the way in which we remember important historic events. But we cannot forget them. They must remain in our minds as a memento. It is our debt to those who lost their lives for our freedom. Today, on the eve of the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War in Europe, I invited you as ambassadors of countries whose citizens participated in the liberation of Slovakia from fascism. Our territory was liberated by the Red Army, together with the Romanian Army and the First Czechoslovak Army Corps. Dear ambassadors, we all belong to a generation that has learned about the Second World War, not only from textbooks, but also from the stories of our fathers and grandfathers. Our knowledge is thus not just factual, but it contains also an emotional, human dimension. I myself come from Banska Bystrica, the center of Slovak national uprising. I spent my childhood and my youth in the park near the Slovak National Uprising Memorial, which is a fantastic architectural and artistic work of architect Kuzma and sculptor Jankovic. It depicts both the tragedy of the most difficult period of the 20th century and the heroism of those who fought the evil of Nazism. History is shaped by people, and its course may in retrospect be perceived sometimes differently, in particular when it comes to events with fatal consequences. Even today, there are differing opinions about if and how the war could have been avoided, who did what, and who didn't do what should have been done to prevent Hitler's aggression. Opinions about what preceded the war and what followed afterwards differ. But I am convinced that these differences must be put aside when we stay at cemeteries and pay respect to the victims of the war. Thanks to their sacrifices, the heinous ideology, the barbarity of which is terrifying even today, was defeated. Therefore, I am shocked to see, even nowadays, individuals who express some form of tolerance to those horrific acts. The Second World War was a historic milestone in terms of the number of civilian casualties and the scope of suffering of those who were not able to defend themselves facing the brutal military force. However, the global developments were complicated even after the Second World War. The memento from the war experience had an impact, and diplomacy managed to prevent Europe and the world from being dragged into another global armed conflict. However, the price we paid was high. Our continent was divided, and all our nations in Central and Eastern Europe were deprived of enjoying democracy, human rights and freedoms. The year 1989 brought significant changes in the European political architecture. The Slovak Republic is now a sovereign and independent state. Our citizens have chosen democratic governance and have repeatedly voted in favor of our membership in the EU and NATO. We feel safe and well in this community of democracies, and in this framework we want to contribute to international peace, security and stability. When we became a member of the United Nations in January 1993, we declared our commitment to our anti-fascist tradition. Today, all the memorials of the famous victory in the Second World War and the cemeteries with its victims are well preserved, and tomorrow they will be decorated with flowers by our political leaders and our citizens as an expression of our gratitude. As the Foreign Minister, I feel the need to express my hope that this great anniversary will serve as an incentive to resolve the conflicts and the use of force that has been taking place recently in the territory of former Soviet Union in accordance with international law, respect for the state's sovereignty and territorial integrity. I'm not sure if I could read the minds and intentions of those who fought in the Second World War, but I'm sure that the best way how to pay respect to them is to prevent Europe from new conflicts resulting in more victims and casualties. Distinguished ambassadors, on behalf of the Slovak Republic, allow me to express my utmost respect to the victims who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. And I would like to kindly ask you to convey this message to your political representatives and to your citizens. Thank you very much for your attention. And first of all, I want to thank you for accepting my invitation to join us and remember the victims of the Second World War. Thank you very much. We are now supposed to have a picture.
No, však to si ten na celý